Hello, a warm welcome to all from SGT University. I am Dr. Nitin Kumar from SGT College of Pharmacy. Today we will be learning about chromophore, auxochrome and spectral shifts.
What is chromophore and auxochrome? Chromophore is a part of the molecule which is responsible for the color of the compound. This can be any functional group with large number of pi electrons like conjugated double bonds. For example, beta carotene, conjugated double bonds means alternating double bonds and single bonds. For example, beta carotene contains 11 conjugated double bonds and this conjugated system imparts orange color to the beta carotene. Some other examples of chromophores are nitro group and azo group, which are common in coloring dye. Also, it can be stated that the more number of pi bonds reduces the energy gap between bonding and anti-bonding states, thus reducing the energy of transition. As energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength of the absorption band shift toward higher wavelength, this type of the shift is known as bathochromic shift. On the contrary, if the conjugation is reduced, energy gap between bonding and anti-bonding increases and thus wavelength of absorption decreases. This shift toward lower wavelength is called hypsochromic shift. Auxochrome is a part of the molecule responsible for the intensity of the color in any compound. These are the functional groups with lone pair of electrons or non-bonding electrons. Please note that auxochrome by themselves cannot impart color to any compound, but they can only increase the intensity of the color. For example, OH group in para-nitrophenol. For example, benzene is a colorless liquid and phenol is a colorless liquid. So addition of auxochrome OH group to benzene does not give any color to benzene. On the other hand, if nitro group, which is a chromophoric group, is added to benzene, nitrobenzene becomes slightly yellow or pale yellow, and now if we add OH group to the nitrobenzene, it increases the intensity of yellow color, as in case of para-nitrophenol, which is dark yellow in color. So chromophore gives color to the compound, but auxochrome only increases the intensity of the color. When intensity of color increases, the height of absorption peak in UV spectra also increases. This shift in intensity of absorption band is called hyperchromic shift. On contrary, if the auxochromic groups are reduced, intensity of the peak reduces, this is called hypochromic shift. So there are four types of shifts. First is bathochromic shift, second is hypsochromic shift, in case of intensity hyperchromic and hypochromic shift.
Let's discuss about the spectral shifts in detail.
Let's take a simple compound like this, and this is the 1,3-butadiene structure, and if this 1,3-butadiene is going to be dissolved in a suitable solvent, and then this solution is going to be placed in a spectrophotometer, and if we send the electromagnetic radiation with the intensity I0, then this electromagnetic radiation can pass through the solution and it can come out the solution as the IT, whereas IT is the intensity of transmitted light. So this solution can absorb the electromagnetic radiation because of the sample 1,3-butadiene. In this way, if we plot the absorbance versus wavelength, we can get a curve like this, and here we can observe a maximum absorbance at a particular wavelength, and this wavelength is called as lambda max. So lambda max is the wavelength at which sample shows the maximum absorption, and sometimes this lambda max may be shifted to either higher values or lower values because of any structural changes in the compounds or because of any other factor like the solvent. Any of these can produce some changes in the lambda max value. These change in the lambda max value what we call spectral shift.
Now in this video, we will discuss about the lambda max value, how it is increased or decreased.
Again, let us take this 1,3-butadiene. The 1,3-butadiene is having a lambda max 217 nanometer, and if you take another example like this is simply 1,3,5-hexatriene. This triene has a lambda max approximately at 250 nanometer. So here what happened, the lambda max of the butadiene is 217, but 1,3,5-hexatriene is 250 nanometer. So here you can observe the lambda max value is going to be increased around by 33 nanometer. So the increase in the lambda max value is because of the introduction of a new double bond within the structure. So butadiene is having the 2 double bonds, but hexatriene is having 3 double bonds. and even this double bond is in a conjugated way. So here an extended conjugation can be observed in the 135 hexatriene. So by this the lambda max value is going to be increased similarly. We can observe a number of unsaturated double bonds in view of these carotenoid. For example, the lycopene which is present in the tomato as well as beta carotene which is present in the carrot. These carotenoid are having around 11 double bonds which are respond for the higher absorption of the radiation by these compounds. If we see the lambda max of these carotenoids, lycopene shows a lambda max around 471 nanometer and carotene around 452 nanometer. Both of these are going to falling in the visible region. That's why lycopene and carotene responses for the color for the tomato and carrot respectively. So here again we can observe that by extended conjugation the lambda max value is going to be increased in the 1,3-butadiene. It is 270 nanometer, but in these compounds, because of the more number of double bonds, the lambda max is shifted from 270 nanometer to above 450 nanometer. Now in this video we will see what are the spectral shifts, what happened to this lambda max value and how the lambda max value either increase or decrease, and what are the factors response for these spectral shift. So spectral shift are the shift of the lambda max, and this shift of the lambda max may be either to higher values or to lower values. So lambda max may be either increased or the lambda max may be decreased. So here we can use the two terms in order to indicate either increase or decrease in the lambda max. For example, bathochromic shift, which is also called as red shift, which indicate that there is an increase in the lambda max. Similarly, hypsochromic shift in the blue shift, whereas the lambda max is going to be decreased. So in order to understand these spectral shift, first of all we have to see what is ground and excited state in atomic spectroscopy. We can have a ground and excited state very clearly, but in the molecular spectroscopy we cannot have a strict find ground state and excited state. And here the molecules will form few of the orbitals called as molecular orbitals. So we can study the ground and excited states in terms of molecular orbitals. So suppose this is the two states, and here this is the HOMO which can be considered as ground state, and this is the LUMO which can be considered as excited state. What is HOMO and LUMO? HOMO is the high energy occupied, and here MO indicates molecular orbital. So HOMO is the high energy occupied molecular orbital. This is the outer orbital which is almost the highest energy and occupied with the electron. So this is called high energy occupied molecular orbital. And what is LUMO? LUMO is the low energy unoccupied molecular orbital. So within a molecule we can have so many types of vacant molecular orbitals. Among these, what is the lowest energy? That means what is the first vacant orbital that is available for filling of the electrons, that what we call the low energy molecular orbital electron is going to jump from the outer orbital to the next orbital. The next orbital is nothing but among the unoccupied the lowest energy. So that is called low energy unoccupied molecular orbital. So when we supply the energy, the electron can jump from HOMO to the LUMO by absorbing this energy. So HOMO is just like ground state and LUMO is just like excited state. So this picture simply indicates an energy diagram. The ground state is having lower energy, so it is at the bottom, and excited state is having the more energy, so it is at the top. Sometimes we can observe that either ground state or excited state can be stabilized, so that we can see a change in the spectra and their lambda max value. For example, if the excited state is going to be stabilized, the energy of the excited state is going to be reduced, and now the gap between the HOMO and LUMO is also reduced. So here we can observe the gap between the HOMO and LUMO is going to be decreased, and sometimes the HOMO may be stabilized, so that now the energy gap between the LUMO and HOMO is going to be increased. So here we can observe curve the gap is going to be increased, so because of the stabilization of either excited state or ground state, the lambda max value may be either increased or decreased. Now let us see which is respond for the bathochromic shift, whether the stabilization of the ground state or stabilization of the excited state. So if we see the bathochromic shift, let us take the two states here, the HOMO and LUMO, and we can observe the energy gap between these two, which can be written as delta E1 is equal to hc by lambda 1. So delta E1 is equal to h is Planck constant and c is the velocity of light in the vacuum, by lambda 1 is the wavelength of absorption because of the bathochromic shift. suppose this excited state is going to be stabilized, then we can observe the energy gap is going to be reduced. Now you can see here the energy gap is equal to delta E2 is equal to Hc by lambda 2. If you compare the delta E1 and delta E2, which is more, you can easy to observe that delta E1 is greater than delta E2. Then what happens to the lambda value? So here we know one of the radiation is directly proportional to the 1 by lambda. That means the wavelength is always inversely proportional to the energy. So more the energy, lower the wavelength of radiation. So here the delta E1 is greater than delta E2. Then we can write lambda 1 is less than lambda 2. That means the wavelength of absorption of the first case E is less, and in second one that lambda value is going to be increased. So here we can observe that the lambda value is going to be increased. So there is an increase in the lambda max value. So we can indicate bathochromic shift. Otherwise, this is also called as red shift. So bathochromic shift is the increase in the lambda max because of the stabilization of the excited state. Now let us see why it is called as red shift. Now we know that bathochromic shift is the increase in the lambda max value, and it can be simply remembered as a red shift because we know the different types of radiation in the visible region, which can be indicated as VIBGYOR. So from the violet to the red color, if you observe that here the R is the red color. So when we travel from the violet color to the red color, we can observe there is an increase in the wavelength. So that's why bathochromic shift can be indicated as red shift. In the red shift, the lambda max value is going to be increased, and here you have to remember that this term bathochromic shift is starting with the letter B. It should not be considered as the blue shift. It is red shift, and here you can remember that B is not for B. That means bathochromic shift is not the blue shift. It is the red shift. Now let us see the hypsochromic shift. What is hypsochromic shift? This is quite opposite to the bathochromic shift. In the hypsochromic shift, we can observe a decrease in the lambda max value again. Let us take the HOMO and LUMO, and if you see the energy gap between these two, delta 1 is equal to Hc by lambda 1. And now in this case, suppose if the ground state is stabilized, when the ground state is going to be stabilized, you can observe the energy is further reduced, and now the energy gap between the HOMO and LUMO is somewhat increased, which can be indicated as delta E2. Delta E2 is equal to Hc by lambda 2. Which energy gap is more here? You can easily observe that delta E1 is less than delta E2. Then what happens to the lambda value? Because the lambda is the inversely proportional to the energy, so we can simply write that lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2. So that means in the second case, so lambda 2 value is somewhat less compared with the lambda 1. That means the here lambda max value is going to be reduced. So hypsochromic shift results in decrease in the lambda max value because the ground state is going to be stabilized, so that the energy gap between the HOMO and LUMO is going to be increased. Now let us see why it is called as blue shift. Hypsochromic shift is the shift of the lambda max to the lower value. So again we can observe in the VIBGYOR, here you can observe the blue color, and when we are going to travel from the red to blue, wavelength is going to be reduced. So that's why this hypsochromic shift is called as blue shift. So in the blue shift, the lambda max value is going to be decreased. Now let us see another term related to the spectral shift, hyperchromic. What is hyperchromium? In order to understand is conceived very easily. As the energy gap between the HOMO and LUMO is going to be reduced, the electrons can undergo more transition, thereby the absorption of the radiation is going to be increased. Now if we see the energy gap between this HOMO and LUMO, here the energy gap is more. So more energy gap leads to the less electronic transition, so less radiation is going to be absorbed. But if the energy gap is going to be reduced, so that means excited state is going to be stabilized and the energy gap is going to be reduced, then you can see that less energy gap, so that we can have the more electronic transitions, thereby more absorption of the radiation. So as the energy gap between the HOMO and LUMO is reduced, the amount of the radiation that is going to be absorbed is increased, which is indicated by hyperchromism. So hyperchromism is nothing but increase in the absorption capacity of the molecule. So you can easily observe that the bathochromic shift always linked with the hyperchromism. Whenever a bathochromic shift is going to take place, it is also increase the capacity of the molecule to absorb. So hyperchromism is also increased. Now we can define the hyperchromism in terms of molar absorptivity, which is indicated by psi max. Molar absorptivity is the intrinsic capacity of the molecule to absorb the electromagnetic radiation. So hyperchromism is the increase in the psi max where the molar absorptivity is going to be increased. Similarly, hypochromism is the decrease in the psi max, which indicate there is a decreased molar absorptivity. So here you should not confuse with the hypochromism with the hypsochromism. Hypochromism is with the reduced psi max, whereas hypsochromic is related with the reduced lambda max, and bathochromic shift is always linked with the hyperchromism, and hypsochromism shift is always linked with the hypochromism.
So today we covered about the chromophore, auxochrome and spectral shift. In our next e-lecture, we will be discussing about the reason behind spectral shifts. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. See you next time.